What's up, barbecue fans? Welcome back to the patio. My name is Jake, and today we're doing something a little different. Now, I am not one of those people that gets starstruck or really cares about celebrities for the most part, just human beings to me, right? However, there is one guy in the barbecue community, Rodney Scott, who makes, apparently, I've never tried it, phenomenal pulled pork and ribs. And he's got this sauce that lots of people have tried to duplicate, and he's really never given away the full recipe. The other day I was like, you know what? I wonder if he sells it. I want to try it. And it just so happens he does, and today we're trying that. But today I'm going to use the Rodney rib rub and the Kathy sauce because I'm going to do some ribs, and I do have the pork butt rub and his famous sauce, vinegar sauce inside. I'll be doing that one next. So if you like Rodney Scott, you like backyard barbecue, this is the channel for you. Anyhow, before I can bring out the star of the show, we got to get our Komodo Kamado fired up. Let's do that now. So as you can see, we're using a little bit more than a quarter of a basket. I did put a big old chunk of Bear Mountain hickory wood chunks down there, and then I put one more chunk on the top. Then we used our Grill Blazer grill gun and fired that up. And it's been going for about 30 minutes or so. Now this is a rushed video and an unplanned video because tomorrow is 99% chance of rain, and I don't have a lot of time today, and it says 0% chance of rain, but if you looked at what I'm looking at, I'm not sure I trust the weatherman today. Not that I trust him normally, but today she seems a little bit, I've been smoking a little crack or something, I don't know. Can I say that on YouTube? I don't encourage drugs. Things that come out of my mouth. We're gonna roll with it. Anyhow, we have some Costco ribs, and these are just spare ribs, nothing special about them. I just took them out of the package, and all we're gonna do is we're gonna give these guys a quick trim. I did take a little bit of paper towel and just give them a quick pat dry, but other than that, I did not do a darn thing with them. We're gonna be real quick here. We're looking for some straggling pieces, and holy smokes, is that ever a thin end. And there was, what the heck is going on around here? There was one piece of bone that was hanging off the edge that I did pull off. So we're gonna, look at all that. We do not need that much fat on the back of this. Okay, we're gonna take the skirt off real quick. That little flap there is just gonna burn. This, man, that is the thinnest piece. That is just not gonna cook, right? So we're gonna take that right off. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that is like paper thin. So we're gonna get rid of that. See if I take off some of this fat. There's like big pockets of fat here. Now, on spare ribs, one time that I don't take off that membrane. I think it keeps in a bunch of extra moisture, and I don't see the need for it. And this piece here, we'll leave those alone. Let's take a look at these guys right here. Again, we got a little flap here, really thin on this edge. Cut close to the bone, take that off. And one of the advantages of using the Komodo Kamado, or any Kamado in general, is that they do tend to cook a little quicker. I am really pressed for time today. I gotta get to an event tonight, but I wanna take some of these with me because one of my clients is having an event, and I'm gonna go to a fundraiser for him, and he's never had my barbecue, so it's a perfect chance to kind of wow him with a little bit of a treat. And this one really doesn't have that skirt, but it does have a crazy bone off this end. It's quite sharp. We're gonna take that off just like so. Now, because I knew I was coming outside and doing some prep on camera, I stuck these in the freezer for about 15 minutes. So they are super cold, just so you know. And let's get out some of this Rodney's rib rub. Make every day a good day. And if you can't tell, it's windy as shit out here, so my rub is really not gonna go where I want it to go. Interesting smell to it. Smells very fragrant. And I don't think a little clumpy is what I'm running into. There we go. That's a little bit better. You know, I would describe what this smells like, but you know, I'm not a connoisseur of rubs. I like wine, but I'm not one of those people that can sit there and say, oh, it's a little dab of blueberry with a hint of raspberry and some chocolate smoke. Yeah, that's not me. I'm a rum and coke drinker, a backyard barbecue guy, a car guy, an IT guy, and I got enough under my plate. I don't need to learn a new skill. It is friggin' hot outside, and just after 11. So we're behaving today, and I got to drive an hour and a half tonight. So you might see a rum and coke perk up a little bit later, but it'll only be one. A little heavier coat on this top here, and let's just cut to some music and get the rest of these done. So in typical Jake style, I didn't really plan ahead enough, and there wasn't enough rub for the amount I was putting in on here. So what we did is I scraped off some of the board. We kind of turned a little bit up there to share. We're all friends here. And there we go. We got some rub on our other rib. These two will have to be the ones that go to my client, and I will sacrifice and have that one. But what we're gonna do is we're cooking a little hotter today. We're about 280. I don't have a ton of time, so we're gonna cram through this cook, try and get it done in 3 hours, let them rest, give them a try, and then I gotta jump in the shower because I'm gonna smell like smoke and get driving. So let's get these guys on. Like so. And what we're doing here is my heat is right here. It stops here. So that way these are not going to be over any heat. We've got a chunk of wood there. It's going to start to smoke here in a second, and we'll let these guys go. So I'm going to give these guys about an hour and a half, and then I'll come out and see if they need a spray, and I'll bring you back when we get to that point. So it's been just over 2 hours, and I mean, it wouldn't be a video without a rum and coke. Cheers. But look, I was laughing about my crack comment, and I got to tell you guys something. Number one, it did rain. I knew it was going to rain. But number two, one of my terms of endearment is I call my wife a crackhead, or friends a crackhead. I'd be like, oh, you're such a crackhead. And you know, it sounds a little weird, but it is truly a term of endearment. So I use that word a lot for some reason. I don't know. It's just a Jake thing. Anyhow, about, I don't know, 40 minutes ago or so, I came out, I looked at the ribs and gave them a spray. The other thing I did is I rotated them around. These guys are long guys, right? So they're pretty close to where my basket is, and you can see the one end was getting a little dark. So we rotated them 180 degrees, and we gave them a spray and then walked away. And here we are. Let's have another look at them. So as you can see, they're looking pretty good. Now we're cooking hot. We're actually around 300, 305. I bumped it up a little bit. Told you guys I don't have a ton of time, so my ribs are gonna suffer just a little bit, but really it's all about the flavor. And I think if we look at the bottoms, yeah, I mean the bottom looks fine. Whew, it's hot. Should put on some gloves, you idiot. Anyhow, you can see it's getting a little dark here, a little dark there. These are long guys, so they're right along the side. This, on a Komodo Kamado, that's a couple inches thick. So it radiates a lot of heat. So if you're close to the sides at higher temperatures, when you're doing low and slow barbecue, or in this case not so slow, you're gonna get a little bit of residual heat off of there. And the other thing that's gonna happen is I'm gonna get some heat out of here in the bottom. We're just spraying with 50-50 water, apple cider vinegar. I'm gonna get my chef's temp here, and we'll take a little shot right here. You can see we're about 189 in the middle. If you need a good instant read, chef's temp, rum and cook, will save you 25% off. I'll leave a link down below. 185 on those guys, and this guy's a meaty guy. This guy's almost twice as thick as this guy. It's meaty. So this one's a little bit behind, but we've got a little bit of time left. Give these guys a quick spray again, just to keep them nice and moist. So these are moving along quite nicely. We still have a little ways to go, and I might wrap these. We're running out of time here, but I'm gonna let them go for a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna have to make a judgment call, and I might wrap them for maybe 30 minutes, but I'm gonna let them go for 30 minutes. We'll make a call, we'll go from there. Okay, so I lied. I waited 3 minutes and I decided to wrap them. It is getting crazy windy out here. As I'm walking in, I have an iPad down here that's my video monitor, and big gust of wind came through, the umbrella went crazy, and that almost got knocked off the table. I'm like, you know what? I think it's getting a little bit more windier. So maybe Mother Nature is telling us to hurry up. So we are gonna hurry up. Plus, I gotta give myself time for a shower. So they say you can't rush barbecue. Today we're gonna break that rule and rush a little bit. but I think we're gonna be a-okay. Get away, fly. Get a little bit. There we go. So this is the Kathy sauce. I have no idea what it tastes like. We're gonna find out together. And I'm gonna put a little bit on the backside. And we're gonna double wrap these guys. So nice and tight. We don't want to steam. This is heavy duty foil. Careful with your bones. Wrap that up there like so. And now we'll give it one more wrap. Mother Nature, you've got such a great sense of humor. One done. This is a big boy. A little thin on this one end. Careful, a little bit on top. Can't be running out now. Already did that once. The back, a little bit more underneath. All right. That smells good. It's got some vinegar in it, I'll tell you that much. It was close. Tried to get me. I mean, as you can see, they are looking pretty good. Smell good as well. That seasoning you can really smell. Got a little bit left. Timed that pretty good. This one's going to be extra saucy, just like me. And one thing I didn't mention is I am going to put these bone side down on the Komodo, or on meat side down. Sorry. I want all the meat to sit in that sauce for a little bit. It shouldn't take that long. Again, we're around 300, so I'm thinking maybe 20 minutes. If my umbrella doesn't get blown over before then. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring them up until they're nice and tender. I will open them up, right? We're gonna use my handy dandy X10 here, right? How do you know ribs are done? If you take the middle bones and you pick them up, you should be able to pick them up about 2.5 inches, and the ends will touch the racks depending on how long the ribs are. These are really long, full racks, so I can probably get close to 3 inches. The other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna look for a temperature, usually between 195 and 204, depending on the rib, maybe 203. But most importantly, you want an Insta-read because you want to be able to feel between the bones. You want to feel that meat. It should feel tender. It's not about temperature, it's how tender it feels, and you want to get it before it gets mushy. So it's going to be like a warm peanut butter is the common go-to saying. But feel the whole thing, should be nice and tender. Once we get to that point, then I'm going to let them rest for about 15 minutes. But I will get them there and I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll let them rest, then we'll try them, and then I'll go in before I get blown away. Ollie is a big pork fan. He's laying beside me. Got a little cloud here, so I got rid of the umbrella here. Let me bring you up to speed. So about 18 minutes after I wrapped all these guys that came out, and I checked the rack that had the least amount of meat on it, and you could tell by feel it was good. So I pulled it off and I put it on a rack inside, and actually just this cooling rack. You guys see me use them all the time. I opened it up to stop the cooking, and then I wrapped it up to let it sit. And then I waited another 15 minutes and the next 2 racks were done. So what I did with them is I opened them up and let them sit for about 15, and then I covered them up, and then I brought them outside. Again, using an instant read just to feel the tenderness of your meat, that is critical because it'll give you some great insight. So let's open up some racks here and see what we got. Still quite warm. Wow, that's actually hotter than I expected for that one. Whew. I would have liked to let them sit a little bit more, but time is not on my side. I gotta get in the shower here in the next 15 minutes. And I still gotta pack up, excuse me. So, as you can see, they've all got some great bone pullback. The bottom looks nice there. And I think they look pretty darn good. Smell good. All right, so let's dig in, have a look. I'm going to grab the rack I pulled off first because it's the coolest. Those are still a little warm. And these ones are really on an angle. Just gonna cut out 3 out of the center there. As you can see, full of moisture. Nice smoke ring there. Super juicy all the way around. exactly what we're looking for. I'm gonna actually take this guy here because I cut this side closer to the bone so I can get a little bit more meat. That, my friends, is pretty good. These actually, this one might have went just a touch beyond that little tug that you want, but not mushy whatsoever, but pretty darn tasty. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. As you guys know, I've used the same rub for a very long time. Once in a while I venture out and I typically use the same sauce, but these are actually quite tasty. I mean, I can see why people like his barbecue. Based on just these guys, I'm really excited to try the pulled pork and try that sauce. Super, super tasty. As you can see, the rub does not go very far, so if you're gonna try this out, pick yourself up 2 bottles of that rub, and why not pick yourself up 2 bottles of the Kathy sauce, because it's pretty darn tasty. If pulled pork is your thing, and you're into Kamados, you gotta check out this monster of a pork butt I did recently. It is massive. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.